Hey there fellas, and today we're going to be doing the NBA starting shooting guards of the 2019-2020. So, I just did the point guard ranking, so you can click the card above. I'll put it up there. So the shooting guard is a pretty good position now. There's a superstar, and there's a lot of good role players and up-and-coming players. There's like Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell, and Shea, who will all rank later. And then there's a lot of veterans, like Wesley Matthews, Evan Fournier, Jimmy Butler, who's probably a superstar. But yeah, so we're gonna be ranking them in the S tier, A tier, B plus tier, B tier, C plus tier, C tier, D tier, and the F tier. So hopefully we don't use the F tier, but we might have to. But before we get started, it would be greatly appreciated if you subscribe to the channel. It helps out a lot, it's free, and it takes 1 second. Now let's begin. So starting off with Andrew Wiggins. So I think this is before the trade deadline. So the players will be accurate, but the teams won't. So Andrew Wiggins is gonna go in the C plus tier. Wiggins he's basically a really good scorer, or he's a decent scorer. He's been kind of shooting more threes, which is nice this year, but his efficiency is really bad and his contract is really bad. He was traded in the trade deadline for D'Angelo Russell, where the Timberwolves also ought to give up an extra first-round pick, which actually might be value in the future. So they really wanted to get off of Wiggins' contract, but I think he can be a nice fit alongside Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. I guess injuries are on, so Klay Thompson won't be here. But for Klay Thompson, I'm going to put him at the A tier, just the same. Next, Bradley Beal is also going to be in the A tier. Bradley Beal is a bona fide star, and he was snubbed off the All-Star team for sure. I think he might make an All-NBA team. I'm not exactly sure about that. But he averages 30 points a game, good efficiency, and takes the whole load of the Wizards' offense. His defense still needs a little bit of work. That's why, the Wizards are just a bad defending team. They're last in the NBA. So if the Wizards can pick up Nneka Okongwu in the draft and get John Wall healthy again, I think the Wizards can compete. Next, Brent Forbes is going to go in the D tier. I don't know much about him. He plays on the Spurs, and I haven't watched many Spurs games unless it's against the Lakers. And so I think he's a good shooter. I'm not exactly sure. Next, Buddy's going to be in the B tier. So at the B plus tier, it's going to be All-Star, and then this is perennial All-Star, yeah. So Buddy, he's a really good shooter, 40% from downtown every year, but they got him, of course, from the DeMarcus Cousins deal, but the Kings just don't value him anymore. They benched him for Bogdanovic, so that shows that they don't trust him that much, but he's been playing pretty well off the bench, so I think he will get traded this year. I don't know where, maybe to the Sixers, just a team that needs spacing, but he's going to be in the B tier. Next, Caris LeVert is going to be in the C plus tier. Caris LeVert is a really good scorer. He carried the Nets to they went, 3-5 in the bubble. It's pretty good for a team that didn't have Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Spencer Dinwiddie, DeAndre Jordan, and basically their whole team. But he dropped 51 against the Celtics. He's a really good player, but he's just injury prone, and I can't put him in the B tier yet. Next, CJ McCollum is going to also be in the B tier. It kind of feels weird to put him at the same tier as Buddy Hield. I'm actually going to put Buddy Hield in the C plus tier. Yeah, okay, I think I'm going to do that. So CJ McCollum, he's a really good scorer. I'm not sure if he fits well with Damian Lillard because they've played such similarly. But he played every minute of the Lakers game in the game except garbage time when they lost. But he's a really good offensive player. I think they might have to trade him for a good defender on the wing on the Blazers. Next, Colin Sexton's going to also be in the C plus tier. So Colin Sexton is a really good scorer, averaged 21 points a game this year. I think he's pretty underrated, but I can't have him. I guess this is where he should be. I can't put him at CJ level, and he's definitely not better than Buddy Hield. He's a really good scorer. I don't know. I mean, since they have the 5th pick, they're probably going to take like Denny Avdija or Obi Toppin. So I think he can be their franchise point guard or shooting guard. Next, Danny Green's going to be in the C tier. He's a really good defender. He's an inconsistent shooter, kind of. He's not like Tim Hardaway inconsistent, but he can knock down it, except in like the bubble. He's been shooting like 10%. Every time I watch a Lakers game and I see him shoot a corner 3, I already know it's going to brick. Sometimes he makes it. I've seen him make one, and like he has this, I think it's, he has this tattoo. It's like splash, and whenever he makes a 3, he points at it. However, like in the bubble, I've only seen him point it at it once, so that's not good for the Lakers. He needs to step up for the Lakers to compete. Next, I think that's Dorian Finney-Smith. He's also going to be in the C tier. He's the Mavericks' best defender. He's a pretty good offense player, can hit the 3-ball, and is a pretty good fit inside Luka, who is not the best defender. Next, Devin Booker is going to be in the A tier. Devin Booker, he had an amazing run in the bubble where the Suns went, of course, 8-0. They destroyed everyone, and he had that epic game winner against the Clippers. The Suns have actually been building a good team around him. Sure, they could have Luka, but DeAndre Ayton doesn't seem that bad and has stretch abilities. They also got Ricky Rubio, so Devin Booker can just focus on scoring rather than playmaking for himself. And they have like Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, who are Mikal is a good defender and Cam Johnson can hit the 3-ball. Next, Dylan Brooks is going to be in the C+ tier. He's a really good shooter. He kind of erupted this year on the Grizzlies as the starting shooting guard. He's a really good shooter once again, and is a pretty good fit alongside John Morant. He kind of choked in the bubble, but on I think the last game of the season against the Bucks, they won to make the play-in tournament, and he stepped up. He had like 35 points. So if he can stay consistent, then he's probably going to be in the C+ tier. Next, Donovan Mitchell is going to be in the A tier too. He put 57 in the playoffs against Game 1 against the Nuggets. That's the 3rd highest of all time. Like, I've seen people, I think he's actually pretty underrated. People don't know, like, he's averaging 25 points a game and is carrying the Jazz on the offensive side. And his defense has also been pretty good. He's just such a good shot creator. Whenever I see him shoot, I already know it's going to make, and he's going to be in the A tier. Next, Dwayne Bacon's going to be in the F tier. It's Dwayne Bacon. Sure, I think it's Devontae Graham, but I guess this is ESPN's list. No, it's on 2019, November 4th. So this was before Devontae Graham erupted, so I guess Dwayne Bacon's here. I don't know much about him. I don't think he's very good, but if it was Devontae Graham, I'd put him at the C+ tier, but it's Dwayne Bacon. Next, I think that is Justin Holiday. Yeah, I think that's that's Aaron Holiday, I think. I have no idea. But he's gonna go in the C tier. He's a good player. He's a good shot creator, has some good defense, can hit the 3-ball. But if it was Oladipo, he would be in the B+ tier. Before the injury, he would be in the A tier, but the B+ would be good for Oladipo. But since this is Aaron Holiday, he's gonna be in the C tier. Next, Evan Fournier is gonna also be in the C+ tier. He averaged like 21 points a game this year. But he kind of choked in the playoffs when like Eric Bledsoe or Chris Middleton was guarding him, or Wesley Matthews. But he's a good scorer. Is probably the first or second option for the Orlando Magic, and I think he goes in the C+ tier. Next, Freddie is also going to go at the top of the C+ tier. Freddie is traditionally a point guard, but since they have Kyle Lowry, the Raptors have been running a very small backcourt. He's a really good scorer, can hit the 3-ball when you want him to. He stepped up in the playoffs and clamped Steph Curry, kind of. He slowed him down, but I think he's not CJ McCollum level, but I think he's going to also get a bag this year. Next, Gary Harris is going to go in the C tier. Before, he would be in the C+ or maybe B tier. But his offense stepped down, but his defense has been really good. I heard a story about how he clamped James Harden, and Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic said that he should deserve to be on an all defensive team. I'm not sure about that yet, but since he came back in game 6 and they won that game. He's the Nuggets' best defender, and they really need him to guard Donovan Mitchell. Next, James Harden is going to be in the S tier. He's the top 5 player in the league. He's so crafty. A lot of people don't like him. A lot of people don't like how he plays, but like how he draws so many fouls. But drawing a foul is like a skill. You have to know like they're gonna hit your arm like that, and he's a really good free throw shooter. But I think that's no question. So I guess we're not gonna have Luka Doncic on here. I did have him in the starting point guard, so in 2K they have him as a shooting guard, but I guess we'll put him in the point guard. Jimmy Butler's also gonna go in the A tier. He stepped up against the Bucks in game 1 yesterday. This is pre-recorded, so I don't know how game 2 went, but he's a really good defender, probably a top 5 defender in the league. His 3-point shot has been pretty bad, but he stepped up again against the Bucks. Chris Middleton had nothing on him, and Jimmy Butler, I don't know who was guarding because I just watched the 4th quarter, but he had like 40 points and he had his playoff career high. Next, Jordan Poole is going to be in the F tier. The Warriors are the worst team in the league, and I think he was like the 27th pick, but maybe he can be in the D tier, maybe he can be a rotational player for the Warriors in the future, but he's going to be in the F tier right now. Next, Josh Richardson is going to be in the C tier. On the Heat, he was very underrated, but he kind of didn't go in the mix with the Sixers like Tobias Harris did last year, but he's a good defender. He only has 2 more years left on his deal, so I'm not sure if he's going to re-sign with the Sixers. Maybe he'll go somewhere else who needs good defense and shot creating. Next, Drew Holiday is going to be in the B tier. Yeah. Actually, let me remove this one because no one's going to be in here. Okay. So Drew Holiday is probably the best defending shooting guard in the league. Maybe you can say Jimmy is the best, but he's a good offensive player. He averaged like 21 points a game in first team on defense last year. He fits kind of well with Lonzo, Brandon Ingram, and Zion. That backcourt of Drew Holiday and Lonzo Ball, that defense is amazing. But I think they might trade him to get younger because the Pelicans are really young, and I think they might trade him. Next, Kevin Huerter is going to go in the C tier. He's a really good shooter. He's like the Klay Thompson to kind of with that defense. Like when the Hawks were trying to replicate the Warriors, he was the Klay Thompson to Trae Young being the Steph Curry. His defense still needs a lot of work, but I think he will be off the bench because they're going to draft like a Tyrese Halliburton or an Isaac Okoro and play them at the 2. Next, we have Landry Shamet, who's also going to be in the C tier. He is a good hustle player, can hit that 3 ball. Like when last year against the Warriors, he was clutch. He hit that dagger when the Warriors blew like a 31-point lead. And he's an energy guy. He's going to provide the hustle and hit that 3 ball. Next, Luke Kennard is also going to be in the C tier. I've seen the Pistons fans probably wanted to be in the C+ tier, but he's not better than Dylan Brooks, Evan Fournier, Karis LeVert, Wiggins, or Colin Sexton. But I think this is a good spot. He's a really good shooter, shot 40% from 3. He kind of had some injury issues, and he is a horrible defender. But if he can fix that defense and the Pistons start winning, he might go up to the C+ tier. Next, Marcus Smart is going to go in the C+ tier. He's probably maybe the best defensive shooting guard in the league. People have been saying he deserves to be on all defensive first team, and he's probably going to get some all defense player of the year votes. But Marcus Smart is just a really good player. His offense and his efficiency still need a lot of work, but I think this is a good spot. Next, RJ Barrett's going to be also in the C tier. He had a really good start on the season, but the Knicks just have no shooting. The Knicks, RJ flourishes when he has shooters around him so he can kick it out. And they have like Reggie Bullock and Mo Harkless, but those won't cut it. Next, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will also be in the B tier. He's better than Freddie, maybe, and he's a really good shooting guard. He was a point guard last year, but since they have Chris Paul, they moved him to the shooting guard. He's 6'5", a pretty good defender. He's not superb like Marcus Smart level, but he's the guy who has a little bit of everything. Next, Wesley Matthews is going to be in the C tier. He's been the Bucks starting shooting guard. I think they should start Dante DiVincenzo because of his defense and shot created. But Wesley Matthews can hit the 3 ball, and he had like 12 points against the Heat. That's pretty big for a role player. And Zach LaVine is going to be in the B tier. Yeah, he's going to be in the B tier. I think he's about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander level. He's the first option for not a good team on the Bulls, so that's not the best. But if they can sign, if Zach LaVine is your second or third option, that's a dub. So I'm going to review this list, and I'll tell you if I make any changes. So I decided that I'm going to make no changes. I think this list is pretty good. Comment down below what your list is, and if you would change anyone. So to review it, S tier we have James Harden. A tier, Bradley Beal, Jimmy Butler, Devin Booker, and Donovan Mitchell. Remember, these are not in any specific order. B tier, CJ McCollum, Drew Holiday, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Zach LaVine. C+ tier, Freddie, Buddy Hield, Colin Sexton, Andrew Wiggins, Karis LeVert, Marcus Smart, Evan Fournier, and Dylan Brooks. The C tier, Danny Green, Josh Richardson, RJ Barrett, Luke Kennard, Dorian Finney-Smith. I think that's Dorian Finney-Smith. Aaron Holiday, Gary Harris, Kevin Huerter, Landry Shaman, and Wesley Matthews. D tier, we're going to have Brent Forbes, and F tier, Jordan Poole, and Dwayne Bacon. So yeah, this is going to be my list. I'll leave a link in the description, my point guard list, and the link to the site. And so remember, if you like the content, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.